Hello, here's my vlog for Wednesday, April 9th, 10/27. Kind of a messed up day yesterday. I got up, I think I got up kind of early. I can't remember, it wasn't that early actually. I was kind of tired, but I woke up really tired, like beat. Like I didn't want to do anything. My whole, like all the muscles in my body were sore. My thighs are still sore today, and my biceps are sore. But and my biceps are actually the most sore out of any muscle from that exercise I did, which is interesting. But I think I did that exercise like 3 days ago, and then I took 2 days off. I rode 2.5 hours, but I didn't do anything yesterday except stretch. I had kind of a messed up day because I got up and I did my vlog and I was going to get going with my day to try to fix everything, get everything fixed, bike computers and stuff. And I went to like turn on the sink, and I saw the sink was leaking out the bottom, and I looked at the under my disposal, and there's this hole this big in my disposal. This whole thing just melted away. And I remember buying the disposal and installing it like 5 years ago or something, 6 or 7 years ago. It's like $110 or something, and so it's just crazy how it completely melted like that so quickly. So I wanted to ride my bike to the hardware store to get another piece. Because I was like, cool, now I'm riding my bike everywhere, not driving. I was driving everywhere before, I'm going through all this gas, just gathering all my stuff, because there was there's Boulder Sports Recycler is like really far away on the other side of the hill, like outside of the Boulder, and shows like, but I didn't want to ride there without a helmet. I want to get in the habit of riding around town with a helmet again, just in case. And so I looked for my helmet and I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere. I looked like under and over every corner of my entire apartment, like 3 times over. And then I went over to my car. I looked inside the car, and then I saw my car was unlocked, because my car unlocks itself. My car smokes, so I'm not allowed to park it in the basement. Like, they complained and they made me move it. It only smokes when you start it up. So, but then there's another problem my car has where it unlocks itself all the time. There's it's a Mazda. I think Japanese cars do that when I get old. They do weird stuff like that. And stuff is always getting stolen in this neighborhood. I had to cancel my Amazon because everything was getting stolen. So, I was like, damn it, somebody saw my nice red helmet and just reached and just opened the door and took my helmet. So I didn't want to ride there without the helmet. So I got in the car, and I also wanted to buy a helmet because I was convinced it was stolen. So I drove to my mom's house, and I looked all over my mom's house in case it was there, and I was hanging out with her. Or actually, she showed up later. So before she showed up, I filed a police report online. And I also mentioned about how I had to cancel my Amazon. And then she came, we hung out, and she made me like lunch. And then I called, and they had a helmet. So I went down to Boulder Sports Recycler, and I got this helmet called the Met 3K Carbon, which is like a $400 helmet for $110. On the 15th, which I guess is on Monday, on Tuesday, it'll go down to $66. But I didn't want to wait in case somebody else would buy it, because that was kind of a deal anyway. It's in pretty good shape. But yeah, because when I got back, I looked online, and Global Cycling Network had a video about it. Like it's an Aero helmet at 40 miles an hour, and It's light and cooling, all this stuff, like even better than one I had before. So it's good that I have an extra helmet just in case this happens again. But I came back and so before I left, before I drove to get the helmet, I emptied my car because it's super duper problematic for me to not be able to lock my car or park it in the basement. So it was like really unfortunate that the car had the double whammy problem. Smokes to kick me out of the basement, but also unlocks itself. So I had to take everything from the car into the apartment. Like I'm going to spend, you know, all this time at the bike park, so I have all my biking gear and the safety gear, my pads, unicycle, and even my electric bike was in the trunk, and mountain bike. And so I took them all out into my apartment, and it's all laying in my apartment, so I have to like reorganize it and figure out like how I have everything organized, so that's fine. Yeah, but as I was looking at my house, I was like, oh wait, there's one more place where maybe my helmet could be, and that's on top of the bookshelf in my living room, on top of the bookshelf next to the bikes. It's totally centrally located in the apartment. So I was like, oh right, so I just looked, boom, there was my helmet. And then it came back to me. I was like, oh right, I remember last week I put the helmet there thinking that's the best place to put the helmet because I don't have any other places to hang it on the wall. But I remember when I was putting it there, I was like, remember, it's here. Remember, just try to remember. Nope. Those memories only came back after I saw the helmet again. And so I was like, oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. But whatever, it was fine because I got another helmet. It's gonna be a legit biker. It's gonna have two helmets just in case you can't find yours for whatever reason, or it breaks or whatever. And also, I could ride with somebody else. I mean, I don't have friends. I don't think I'll make any friends. But in any case, theoretically, you know, if I have 16 bikes, if I were to do that, ride with somebody, I could provide the helmet. So that's cool. But yeah. So I was like, okay, and then I looked at these a couple days ago. I got the mail like 2 days ago. Yeah, it was like 2 days ago. It was like day before yesterday. I got the mail because I checked my mail because I got the off-road inline skates. Oh no, we're gonna run out of time on this too? What is the deal with my video cameras? All the batteries are dead, or the video, or the cards are gone. But I always reformat them after every video I do. God damn it! I hate it when this happens. I only have 4 minutes to talk because the card, and these video cameras can't take the bigger cards because they can't process it, even though I got the highest quality ones. So anyways, I'll have to talk super fast today because there's no time to talk because I chose a video camera with no memory. I checked the mail a couple days ago for my inline skates. Maybe I'll just splice this together with another one. I'm not in the mood for getting limited in time. Yeah, so I got my inline skates the other day, but I picked out a couple of letters that were in the mail too. And yesterday I looked at those letters and I saw one from the IRS. And when I saw it from the IRS, I was like, my heart sank. I was like, fuck. Because whenever I get letters from the IRS, it's always them telling me that I owe them money. Even though I pay my taxes, I always pay my taxes with H&R Block, like with an accountant and everything. They give me the K1, I give it to the H&R Block like a regular person. And then they send me letters throughout the rest of the year saying I owe more and more money. And a lot of times, sometimes I call and they say it's a mistake. They sent the letter out in mistake. That was one thing. And but like sometimes I pay, like just 1 month ago I paid $450 to the state of Colorado because they said I didn't pay enough last year. So I mean, I don't get tax returns. I get extra tax bills every month, every year throughout the year. And so I saw that and I was like, fuck, because I haven't even paid my taxes for this year. They're due on the 15th, which is in a couple of days, and I have to, my K1's not ready, so I have to just look at my taxes from last year how much I paid and the percentage, and I just pay what I guess it is, and then when my K1's ready, that's when I actually file them, and then I just deduce what I already paid and I send it in. So I open up the letter and they're like, you owe $3,000. You owe $2,987.30 from 2022, from 3 years ago. And they sent it out. They sent it from their office on the 24th of March. And they say I have to pay the entire amount by the 14th of April. So they give me 2 weeks. Or else they said they may consider seizing my income and my bank account. So now the government, the American government in 2025 is just straight up seizing people's bank accounts. So, so that like made me super freaked out and depressed. I even uploaded a video and talked about it on YouTube because I think they're going to come and get me because I said a video few years ago during Corona saying I hope Donald Trump dies of the coronavirus, Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan was like licking Donald Trump's butthole. And I hope Joe Rogan fucking falls even farther. Anybody who's a right-wing or MAGA idiot needs to lose their viewership. But yeah, I've got 1 minute left. We're running out of time. So I think Donald Trump did a search, and you know he's the kind of guy he thinks he's Putin or Xi, you know, or like Kim Jong-un. So he's gonna go and take out his enemies. That's like all he has time to do. That's the only thing he can think of doing. So he's gonna. So I think I got targeted as one of his enemies, and so he somehow he has the power. I don't know how. I didn't know the president could get this powerful, but when you're in collusion, that's how it happens. When you're in collusion with a bunch of people who think just like you, you know, what you do is you fire all of the government workers who are actual government workers, all the way down the entire line, Project 2025, and then you replace them with lunatic MAGA people who would do stuff like tell me I have to pay $3,000, or else they're gonna block my bank account by the 14th. Like, give you no warning. I mean, you never used to send letters out like this before, where you have 3 days to pay your taxes all over again, and we're gonna take your bank account, right? So, which means now I can't function as a human anymore. There's no more food, no more nothing. Like, are you guys gonna like have a bed in the jail for me or something? So, I got really depressed, and I just was like. So here's part 2. So I got really depressed, and on my other video camera that I should have used, I didn't know this one didn't have any freaking space left. Every single time I do a video, I always delete every video off of it, and then go to disk utility and erase everything and make sure that it's all the way back up to top. But then when I record, there's no space. Yeah, I got really depressed and started stretching, and just stretched all day long. And what happened was, after I started stretching, I like stumbled across a YouTube channel called Land of Kim, and like this dude made a video like 2 years ago. I think it was from another video. Oh no, and then the Land of Kim guy made it 2 years ago, and somehow I didn't find out about it until now, which is totally crazy. But yeah, it's this guy, he wrote a book, I think I want to get his book, about how he realized that the Red Pyramid is actually a factory for building ammonia that they would use in their fertilizer, and so that they were terraforming Egypt. They moved to Egypt to terraform the whole Nile region. And so that's why, like they say, you know, Egypt is the breadbasket of the world. And they're all saying it was because the river like would like flood every year and just inundate all of the riverside with water. and then they could use that to grow everything. But now it's turning out that they actually used fertilizer to grow the stuff. And not only that, but they had but all those megaliths that you see, like Stonehenge and Eavesbury and blah blah blah, all the other ones, those are all designed to terraform. Those were to their region. Those things are used to create clouds. And he actually described it, how it happened. He described all the science. And this dude wasn't even like a college-educated scientist. He just figured it out on his own. He had a career job. I don't even know what his career job was, but he was explaining it. Like, there's this guy named Fritz something, a German guy in the early 1900s who invented a machine that made ammonia. And once we figured out how to make fertilizer based off ammonia, that was one of the like one of the major, if not the number one cause of the Industrial Revolution, which made it so that 7 billion people could live here. It's all from the fertilizer. And it's all from the ammonia fertilizer. And the reason that ammonia is called ammonia is because that guy Fritz was a total like Egypt nut, and he went to Egypt all the time, and so he called it the salt of Ammon. Ammonia is called salt of Ammon, but nobody knows why he called it that. But it was just because he was like a Egyptophile. But he would have toured the inside of the Red Pyramid, and before he invented his machine, and his machine that makes ammonia is designed exactly like the Red Pyramid. It has two. The Red Pyramid has two big, like, pyramid-shaped, really steep, like caverns on the bottom of it that are connected with a hole on the bottom. And then at the top of the second one, it takes you into another cavern. And yeah, and he was describing the whole chemical process, like how you pour it up with water, and the one cavern, and so now you're creating like a void that has where no air can escape. It's like totally sealed, because the water, they can control how the water level in the void from the other one, because the water levels are the same between the two, and so they pour it in and they can create pressure. The water goes up and creates pressure, and somehow the pressure causes these chemical reactions, and then it goes in and pushes it into the other chamber, and then like pushes it up with the pressure, and that's why it's designed like this, because they can control gradually how much pressure, and then it goes up into the top receiver room, and whatever was in the floor was removed, so it was like some kind of like a granite tub that was worth a lot that somebody wanted or something, that it came out of it, and it filled it up with ammonia water. And so they would go and they'd scoop the ammonia water out and pour it all over their crops, and that's how they did it. And he showed, and then I was watching his tours, and he was showing how the pyramids are actually connected with underground tunneling, underground. When you get the guy to come over your house, the plumber, underground plumbing, and they used to push like iron, some kind of iron sludge between them, and he was showing all of these like clogged up iron, just chunks of iron that were inside of the tube. And he was showing where the holes were between them, so they're all connected. And so, yeah, there were all of those were used. Those pyramids were actually used. They were machines that were used to fuel the government, the country. He said that, yeah, so they were powered, and the power from like, I think to power the Red Pyramids, to heat the Red Pyramid, or something. Or maybe the other pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Khafre, was the power chamber. But he said that they got their power from lightning. So they had those big pyramidions on the top, the capstone. And like all the pyramids, they know where the capstones are because the pyramidion fell off and tumbled down and got buried under the sand. And then when they dug around the side of the pyramid, they found the pyramidion, and so they know that's why it belongs to that pyramid. And then now they're in the pyramidions are like, I think the pyramidion of the Red Pyramid is, there's a pyramidion of the Red Pyramid right in front of it, but Wikipedia said it's in a museum, but there's a bunch of them in the museums. But the Pyramid of Khafre never had a capstone. They don't know how big the top was originally, because the top has been getting bigger over the last couple hundred years because they've been removing rocks so that they could have more people hang out on top. And they have that from description. History of Granite was talking about that. But it never was total. It never had a pyramion because he said that when it's a little bit flat on the top, it can conduct the electricity more. So, but he said because the composition of the rocks, the pyramid was designed to store energy. He said one lightning strike can power America for a year. So if you can just figure out a way to like harness that one lightning strike, you'd have like a battery. And so he said that like all these different rocks that are the granite inside the pyramids were designed to hold different types of energy. Like one of them holds electrical energy, one of them holds like some kind of other energy, like sound energy or something, and they all turn all of them energies. And he took a picture of how it even holds energy. It creates these little, I can't remember what he calls it, but it creates these little micro electrode, micro silica or whatever. And he showed a picture of this round yellow thing. So it creates these little mini batteries all over it that you could then utilize energy from. So they knew how to make batteries that got recharged from lightning. But and so yeah, and I think a little bit somebody actually else was talking about how they found those pillars under the Pyramid of Khafre. And so their sound technology, and the guy was showing how the sound technology actually works, because he was showing like the design of the pyramid, how they know it is, and then he showed the sound, and the sound like showed it like with detail. And so when you have these underground, if you look at it in the same way, it's like real. But yeah, the sound thing, like that big like thing above the King's Chamber that has all those slabs that are on a line, you have the slab and then air and then a slab, and they don't even know what it's for because there's no rooms to it. Well, they have 5 more of them at the base of it, just like that they discovered through the sound, and those which are like right above the pillars that are below it that go down like half a mile or whatever. So anyways, so when I was watching, I was just like riveted. I was watching it in bed, like listening to it, like, oh my God, this is insane. Yeah, I had insomnia. I was up until like 2 or 30 in the morning or something, because I was also depressed about this whole thing. So, and I was thinking to myself, damn, that dude, and then I watched his Land of Kim video where he described it even more, and he described how he described the science, and I can't really remember exactly why, because I wasn't really paying attention that much. I was trying to get to sleep. But I was actually kind of fucking around on the internet. I wasn't watching his thing, like, on the big screen. I was watching it on my little phone and on the big screen. I was just fucking around on the internet. I didn't have all the most, like, ability to concentrate as I normally would yesterday, because I was depressed about that fucking letter. Because I already don't have enough. Because they sent it to me before I even paid my taxes for this year, and now I have to deal with that. So yeah, what I'm going to do today is pay my taxes for this year, whatever they are, and then call the IRS. And oh yeah, and another thing I have to do is here, I'll actually get back to that. Yeah. So but this dude was describing the science behind how those stone monuments actually bring clouds, and how the ones in Egypt bring clouds. Like they create some kind of a Well, they create like heat and cold at the right places so that they would make the heat, the hot and the cold air meet, and then create a rain cloud that way. And they would make these like currents of hot and cold air from like, I think the heat from the pyramids would dissipate the heat that from the energy that it got from the from the lightning strike, and then that in conjunction with like super cold rocks or something. I'm going to watch him over and over again until I have it memorized, and I'm going to do a video describing it. The science behind it. That's anyway, that's why they call it the land of Chem, and that's where the word chemistry came from. And their god Ammon was really just ammonia. Yeah, man, that's freaking amazing. So, yeah, and I'm thinking like 2 years ago, this dude, and then it didn't catch on. I didn't even hear about it. He did an interview with this dude named like Danny Jones like 11 months ago. So that wasn't that long ago, less than a year, but still it hadn't caught on. So, and then I was talking to ChatGTP about it, and ChatGTP is totally skeptical. And this dude was talking to Danny saying, we all need to get together with all the different scientists from all the different disciplines and talk about it and figure this out. So it's like it hasn't even started yet. Like the scientists hadn't even got together. So we're just about to figure out, like literally just about to figure out Egypt and like re-engineer it to the point where we could learn from them, and we could maybe make pyramids ourselves to make ammonia. So 3D printed pyramids to make ammonia, just like how they did it. No, they couldn't be 3D printed. They have to be made, but with all the stones so that they can absorb the energy from the lightning strikes. But that was amazing. But anyway, I thought to myself, damn, well, if this dude can't become mainstream, then I shouldn't get all upset about people not caring about Atlantis, you know? Like, people are just across the board brainwashed. But, yeah, so anyways, back to the whole tax thing. Yeah, I did my video yesterday. I was like, fuck, they're going to fuck me. And I'm like, well, and then I started thinking what people might say. They're like, wait, how could they fuck you? You can just use your paperwork, right? Can't you use your paperwork to prove that you paid? And I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, that's right. I need to go into my paperwork because I have my taxes for the last, like, 15 years or something. I need to go into my taxes, and I need to just haul them off, like everything, off to Kinko's Copies and copy every last page of all of my taxes for the last 15 years, or at least the last 10 years, and then put them in a separate duplicated tax file in my mom's basement. Because like, it's like, yeah, that's the thing that could save me. But if somebody breaks into my house and they take my tax records, and then they can edit them online, the IRS can edit them online, and then there's nothing I can do. They're just like, yeah, no, you didn't pay. And I'm like, no, I did, but I can prove it. See, look. And then it's like, it doesn't say you paid. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? So, and if they're going to bust into my house, it'll be way more hard to bust into my house and steal all my tax documents and my mother's house at the same damn time. You need like double the agents, you know, double the risk. So, yeah, and then maybe if I have enough resources, or I'm paranoid enough, I could mail them off to Italy and have Paula store them under her barn outside or something like that, so that when the IRS keeps coming at me telling me I owe $3,000 all. So yeah, I got a letter. Yeah, I have to pay $3,000 by 14th because I didn't pay my taxes on the 23rd, and I got my taxes, and I was like, wait, but this is my tax return from the 23rd. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do after I do this video. I'm going to organize my stuff first because I was too depressed to do it. And then put it back in my car. And then I'm going to look at my taxes from last year, and then I'm going to write the taxes and send the taxes off. If I don't have the money, I have $20,000 left in my HELOC loan. So I'll have to delve into my final 20,000 bucks, make like a check for whatever I need to pay my taxes this year, for this year. And then call the IRS and all the different IRS case workers or whatever, and plug them into my phone, and then just see what I can go from there. I'd be like, look, man, it says here I paid, but then it says here I didn't pay. So what's the deal? Because one time I got a letter, this is like last year, from the IRS saying I owed like $1,000 or something. And I called, and it didn't line up. They're like, huh, it doesn't show here. And I'm like, huh, I just got the letter. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on. But like if I have to actually pay this $3,000, yeah, that means I'd have like $1,500 left in my line of credit, on my HELOC loan, I mean. And you know, I bleed out like $1,000 a month. So I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I need to get a job. I need to get a job. I mean, it's not I need to get a job. Somebody needs to hire me for a job, because I don't get hired for jobs. Because I have my website. I'm like Mr. Last of the Line. They like look at me and they're like, oh, he's the last of the line, as in never. You know, I applied to like 50, 60 jobs on Indeed last summer for like 2-3 months until I realized nobody was going to hire me. And so I got my first HELOC loan for $30,000. And then this year I tried for another 2 months to get jobs hired, and it was over 80 jobs just on Indeed, and then a whole bunch of jobs in other places, until I ran out of money, and then I increased my HELOC to $70,000, but I could have increased it to $150,000, and I should have. I should have increased it to way more, because then I wouldn't be so stressed out now. And then like 2 weeks after that, maybe like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, somebody called and left a message saying that I was finally offered a job as to take care of old people here at Brookdale. But it was too late. I had already taken out my HELOC loan, and I got my summer job this summer, Avid for Adventure, as a mountain bike specialist. And so I needed to prepare for that. I need to get in shape, because I was way out of shape, and also have to get good at the bike jumps before that starts. So it was actually good that nobody hired me, because the job, my dream job, that's a perfect job. You know, I have to prepare for that, and I got that, and you know, after that, that's when, and then I'll have my foot in the door, and I'll have references from there and everything, and then maybe somebody will hire me for taking care of old people or something. But also, I'll write all of the different foundations, the autism I'm gonna find out today if I have autism or not. I mean, if I do, I go in at 2 with my mom. My mom wanted me to take the test. It's part of the DVR program I'm on. And then I have to go in DVR. I'm gonna call the DVR lady today and see if she can help me fill out the paperwork for that. Today is when I get my student ID number from the Colorado Community College, because I need to take classes 10, 11, and 1031 to get my early childhood education certificate, so I can get a job as a preschool teacher. Like, that's the one job I can get that's offered, that I can get around here, that requires a college degree. And I wanted to get a job that requires a college degree, because I had to lick butthole till I was 23 and do college for 5 years, even though I never wanted to go there. So it's like I'm like determined to use it. So, and plus, yeah, like seemed like those jobs were interested in hiring me. And you know, I'm an education guy, so if like the education people wanna shun me like everybody else, it's like, wow. Well, now you have to live with that. I don't know how you can live with yourself, but I don't know. This is planet Earth, where people are retarded. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to today. Now, as far as let's see, I'll start talking about Atlantis. Atlantis. So yeah, every day I talk about Atlantis with a new theme. I think today's Atlantis theme will be if you talk about Atlantis, you're gonna get kicked. You're gonna get kicked out of society. So, and I'll just prove that. You know, maybe I can prove everybody where Atlantis is by getting kicked out of America. You know, so my plan to get kicked out of America is to if I have to pay the money, I guess I'll just pay what the IRS says I have to pay in the end. I mean, I could pay it. I could just write a check to myself for my HELOC loan. I could pay it now. It's just that I want to look and talk to them and see what their reasoning is and stuff, and see how much I'm actually paying. And like, is it some kind of an interest thing? Was there like some little like extra fee that I didn't pay in 2022, and then they tacked on like a 35% interest, and so I'm just paying an interest or something? Like, what's going on here? And they didn't send me another letter saying I owed anything. This isn't like the part 2 warning or anything. It's just all of a sudden, out of the blue, I owe $3,000 from 2022. And I have to pay by Tuesday. Like, what the fuck? So that's where America's going. So if they keep sending me these, you know, if I pay the $3,000 and then in 6 months they say I have to owe another $3,000 from the year 2020 or the year 2023 or whatever, and I have no choice, and because of some kind of like interest thing, and then I have to pay another $3,000 and another, and then I run out of my HELOC, and then I have to refinance, but I can't refinance to 150 and again, and then I just max out my HELOC, and then I'm like, and then by then still nobody hire me, you know, it's like, whoa. Then I would just, I guess, sell the apartment to the bank and then put my stuff in a storage shed and live in a tent, or get a car I can sleep in or whatever, and then just sell stuff out of my storage shed until I don't have stuff to sell anymore, and then move off to Italy, you know, because I don't have a bank account anymore because they kept double and triple charging me over at the IRS. Anyway, yeah, so Atlantis obviously is there because Plato said that there was an island that was 350 by 550 kilometers in the Caribbean. He said, and there is an underground island there that's 350 by 550 kilometers, and Plato said it was surrounded by a bunch of other islands, and the underwater island of Atlantis is surrounded by a bunch of islands. He said it was destroyed by a tsunami because of, this is what Plato said. And if anybody wants to disagree with me, please do, because I'll actually cut and paste where he said it in the book, and I'd love to hear you be like, that's not what he said. Really? Because it looks like, here, I'll read the words again, you know. You want to read the words out loud? Like, what did he mean? And then they watch the people, like, try to repiece it together in their own image. But no, he said that it was next to America, North and South America, a big continent that stretched the entire globe, north to south. That's what he said. Yeah, and then he said how big the city was, and you can see the city with a ring. And I went and told everybody, and that's when they depixelated the whole region. And still nobody cares. Like, and now I'm the bad guy. So it's crazy. And then of course the next week I owe like another $3,000 to the IRS, even though I did my taxes with I do my taxes with H&R Block every year. One year I did it with TurboTax, and then it stopped working with TurboTax. You just go into H&R Block, it's across the street, and yeah, so that's where America's coming to. I'm going to do a video now talking about how the fitness industry is ass backwards, because I'm kind of bummed about that. How they don't do competition. You know, you don't know how strong anybody is. It's unbelievable. People only care about how they look physically. So if you want to do that into a macrocosm for society, people don't care about performance or like what you're made of or how good you are. All they care about is how you look. And case in point, the fitness industry. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm going to sit around and hang out. I'm going to try to get as much done with my house without getting too depressed. I mean, god damn it, dude. Yeah, just send off those checks, or maybe just get into spending mode and just not be afraid to just give the IRS their fucking money. Their $3,000. And then, yeah, as soon as I run out of money, maybe I could get refinanced on my house, like on the original value of the house, because my apartment went from $425 to $390 in 1 year because they overbuilt here. But my banker was cool, and he used the previous. So, I don't know, maybe I could do that again. Maybe I should refinance now. But let's try to stay afloat as much as possible. But, you know, as soon as I take my test, my England 1500 to 2000 test, and pass it with 100%, then that's when I feel like I have a leg to stand on to go and ask people for money. So, okay, I'll spend a certain chunk of my time every day to try to, and not with the help of my mom. Because my mom, she's a sabotage goblin. You know, if I ever mention that to her, she's like, oh, let me write it with you to make sure you don't say something wrong, because she thinks I don't know how to operate in the world. I say wrong things, like I'll start cussing in the letter or something. I don't know. And so then I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And then she's like, oh no, but we can't do it because it takes a formula and we're going to do the formula wrong. So we should just do it later, like when we have the time. So she's basically telling me not to do it. So I have to ask for money from foundations without telling my mom what I'm doing. Otherwise she'll try to make me stop. So, yeah, just write, you know, like she made me delete everything from the front page of my website because I mentioned Atlantis, and some other things, like I said, like reinstalling the educational system. And according to my mother, I'm not allowed to say anything good about myself because that's the same thing as cutting other people down. So I had to delete that and then replace it by some bland thing that ChatGPT wrote. So that's what you'll see on the front page of my website now, so that I could try to see if I could get a job, because my other website would make sure that nobody would hire me. But now doing that, nobody will hire me. So it's like maybe I should bring my original back. And also, that's like she wanted me to get rid of my front page because I said where Atlantis was on the top, because she said that was too aggressive. But when she visited her family last year in Florida, I told her before she left about Atlantis. I showed her and everything. And I showed her at the top of my page where it said it was. And I'm like, yeah, tell them. Just paste it at the top. And then put it on Google Earth and show them where it is. And then show them the circle that I showed you and everything. Because they live in this place called Atlantis and Disney World in Florida. Even with water going around and everything. And so when she came back, I'm like, so did you show them? She goes, oh, I couldn't find it. What do you mean you couldn't find my website? She's like, I couldn't find the Atlantis dealio that you said where it was. And I'm like, it's at the top of my page, in the front page. And then a couple months later, she's like, you got to get rid of this front page because of this Atlantis bullshit at the top. So she doesn't know where it is when it's convenient to her. And then when it's convenient to her, it's glaringly obvious in front of her where she is, but she needs it out of there because nobody will want to know me. Makes no fucking sense. But anyway, when she came back, I was like, you lunatic, let me show you. I got mad and I'm like, we're opening Google now. And that's when I realized that they had depixelated it. They depixelated it when she was visiting her family. It was pixelated before she left and then got depixelated when she was there and was depixelated by the time she got back. So everybody and their dog is dragging their feet on this whole Atlantis thing. The government with the pixelations, my mom pretending she doesn't know where it is, but then she doesn't, but it needs to go, and all this other bullshit. So anyway, no, my mom's really nice. She's just mainstream to the point of turning into like a sabotage goblin. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to now. I'm going to go do that fitness world video, and then organize my house and all the stuff that I brought for my car, and then look at my taxes from last year and then write the checks like right now and send them off. And then call the IRS and then look at my taxes from 2024 and see how much I paid and see if somebody from the IRS can explain it to me in a way that makes sense. And see if it, or maybe it's a mistake letter like their one last year. Just get to the bottom of it. Yeah. Oh, and last year and last night, another thing I did, because I was really depressed, dude. I was like, shh. I had to like recalibrate my brain, you know, like expecting what's going to happen of my life, you know. And then it took me a few hours for me to finally, like, just thinking about it, to finally be like, okay, I have to prepare for to get kicked out of America, basically, because of this whole taxes having to. They're trying to get me to like single-handedly pay for the reconstruction of the world, of the roads. No, I can't look. Yeah, so oh yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I was so depressed that I was like, man, I need to get stoned, but I'm not gonna buy weed. And I looked in my plants, and I cut a bunch of buds off of these little plants that are only like 2 weeks old, and I got high. So let me tell you something about weed. If you grow a bunch of plants, I have a whole bunch of plants, then all those plants will grow together. So you're actually growing buds fast, really fast, because it's all these different plants growing them instead of one big plant growing them. And even those tiny little buds with the little plants that are 2 weeks old with little buds will get you high. The only difference is it'll take forever. Like you'll have to smoke a lot of it because it's not as strong, but it'll still get you baked, and it's really good. I got all baked last night, but all I was doing was smoking. So I was basically inhaling butane, because it wasn't totally dry because, you know, I also didn't dry it all that much on the machine, but not just on the food dryer, but not just that it, I mean, by the end, a lot of them were dry. It wasn't just that. It was also that it wasn't that strong, but it got me high. So you can basically get high whenever you want if you grow a bunch of it, just in one closet, if you just grow a bunch of it all the time. Like if you suddenly want to, you know. So anyways, that was kind of interesting. Because I remember, you know, people tell you, like, the only way to smoke weed is to grow it and then you cure it for 3 weeks. It's like, But anyway, so that's what I'm up to. I'm going to have to splice this together. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to do a video about why the fitness industry is messed up. Talk to you tomorrow.